Yeah.
Okay. Ms. Hall, in a meeting at the moment. What's going on?
Mr. Dexter Jones is here.
Okay, you can go ahead and work with him. I'm in a meeting with Ms. Johnson. Thank you so much for letting me know. And hopefully, if we're done before he get ready to leave, I would like to see him.
Okay, great.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let me cut this down. Mute it.
All right.
All right. Okay,
Right.
we're good now. All right. Little notes.
Okay,
Just
all
in
right.
case.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Dr. Miller, for spending some time with me today to talk about the Human Resources Division in the Allendale County School District. I appreciate your time because I know you're really, really, really busy. So thank you for allowing me to pick your brain a little bit today.
Sure. Good afternoon. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it. So staffing a district is a huge, huge undertaking.
Mm-hmm.
As you're thinking about your role, which is a fairly new one, you are in a year and a half into this role, roughly? Not even a year and a half.
But kind of close if you talk about preparation for the role.
Mm-hmm.
So I started the role July 1 of 2024.
Mm-hmm.
So July 1 of this year will be a year. But
Wow.
I did start maybe about a month or two prior to that, kind of prepping for the role. So
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for again for sharing your insights today.
Sure.
So when we think about staffing the district and the vacancies that we have in recruiting and retaining, how do you ensure that new hires are placed in the right role, roles that are aligned with their skills and their experience?
Sure. The first thing with our processes is that we try to have a robust onboarding process.
Mm-hmm.
What I found out through this time that I've worked in the role is that I'm kind of tweaking that process as I'm going along. Because as we move into next year, I want a more seamless process. Coming in at the time that I came, I was not necessarily involved in the placement.
Okay.
However, this year I am. And so we will be meeting with each principal,
Mm-hmm.
working through their decisions as relates to where they would like to place individuals in the building. With HR, my role is to ensure that the certifications meet and are in alignment with the positions that they're placing
Right.
individuals. And if they have the data, right, to support different moves, and if those moves are not in direct alignment to their certification, being able to work with the State Department to find out ways to apply for a permit, apply for a waiver, or something like that, so that those individuals can actually operate and serve in roles that they may not necessarily be certified in, but roles that they actually, because of their skill set, might actually work best in, if that makes sense.
So it sounds like you have to find harmony between individuals' skill sets and what the district actually needs. And sometimes you may bring a person in for one thing, and they might end up filling a different role of responsibility.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. And it's all important to, we have a very good induction program. And with that comes mentorship opportunities. And so we have individuals who are veteran teachers, very highly skilled teachers who serve as mentors. And so when those new teachers come in, especially those teachers who are new to the career, right? But also those individuals who are new to Allendale, being able to connect them and match them up with the right mentor, match them up with the right buddy, so that person can provide additional support and secondary support for them and what they need.
Are there other things that you do as a district to make sure that those new hires, they get the right information that they need? Because you said they got to be familiar with Allendale County schools. This is a different place. We are a very rural district, right?
Certainly.
It has its own culture. It has its own energy. Making sure that they have the right training that's necessary in addition to the mentorship and the partnerships. Are there other things that you all do to kind of track them
Certainly.
Mhm.
Certainly. So one of the things that we do with all new hires is we have a new employee orientation. Okay. Again, that's something that I've been involved in for several years as the assistant superintendent of curriculum and instruction. But this year, this was my first year being able to plan it as chief HR, and I am going to tweak that process a little bit as well. How we actually bring those persons on a little bit before everybody else come in to really talk to them a little bit about Allendale, a little bit more about Allendale, so that they know kind of the place that they're going to be working. Also, to really kind of get them a jump on instructional programs, understanding the new teacher handbook, employee handbook, and those kinds of things. Making sure that they have their computer, make sure they have their ID, making sure that they have access to the things that they're going to need to be able to be successful, including their standards, whatever subject they're going to be teaching. The principals make sure that they have a binder or have some type of electronic folder with those standards and objectives readily available.
So important, because one of the important things that we have to think about in any setting is making people feel welcome and expected, right?
Yes.
It's a bad feeling when you go into a place and I've gone into meetings and they knew I was coming, but there was like no seat saved for me, or maybe there was an agenda printed for me, and it kind of stung a little bit, right? So I can imagine coming to a new community and not having certain things in place where you feel like you're just kind of on your own.
Yes.
So I appreciate your thoughtfulness. And I heard you say several times that you're tweaking some things.
Certainly. It's an evolving process.
Yes, and you want a more seamless process. And I've been
Yes.
fortunate enough to be a part of some of the interviews, and
Yes.
even midstream, like from one set to the next, we've had to make some adjustments.
Sure.
But it's because you're open to making the process, like, as you said, more seamless, more efficient,
Yes.
and more effective. And I appreciate you watching. I appreciate being able to watch that part of your journey.
Yes.
So it's been exciting, and I'm learning a lot too, right?
Right. Awesome. I think we learn from each other, right?
We have a lot of international teachers here in the district.
Yes.
So how do we make them feel welcome and integrated into the school culture?
Let me tell you. So our international teachers is a great add-on, of added value to our institution, and a lot of it is because we're a rural school district, and so it's already hard to fill vacancies as it is. And so what that does is it lends us to actually have an increased amount of international teachers that serve our children. And so as them coming to serve our children, what we find is that there is a cultural barrier that's there. And so we do provide some cultural training. However, as that word tweak, I'm tweaking some things, and I am trying to build some type of cultural competence, PD, specifically for international teachers, to help try to bridge the gap between how they respond to students and how students respond to them, because cultures are totally different. In addition to that, looking at how we can support. I know in larger school districts they have like a person who's specifically responsible for international teachers. We don't have that luxury or leverage. So I'm trying to figure out how might I be able to leverage my department in collaboration with some of the international teachers who have been here a longer time, and then being able to find a leader among leaders, if you will, someone who could be that liaison between my office and the international teachers, to be able to help with that connection and that transition, right? The other thing is they do it amongst themselves, but they do like international nights or international things where it celebrates their culture, and they do like their own foods and those kinds of things. So I really want to expand that and really try to make it a district type of partnership with them, so that we can across the district be able to do something that celebrates their culture, that they're excited about it, but also being able to invite those that are non-international teachers, community members, etc., students, parents, so they can also understand a little bit better about the international teachers and those that serve our students.
That's phenomenal. Having some conversations with them. This is a big adjustment, coming to a different country. And sometimes they come with families, and sometimes they are alone. And so anything that we can do to make that transition smoother for them and to make them again feel welcome and expected, I think is going to serve us in recruiting, even better
Mm-hmm.
teachers, because they're going to spread the word and say, this is the place you want to be, right?
Yeah, that's right, and that's what we want.
That's outstanding. Thank you. So when you think about the HR department and all of the plans that you have that are well laid out and very thoughtful and intentional, how do you follow up after that initial onboarding?
Mm-hmm.
What does the follow-up look like throughout the year? Like, what are those touch points with the new staff members?
Certainly. So I work very close with the agency company who serves our teachers for induction purposes.
Okay.
So I work alongside them as well as our district instructional specialist who works even closer with them. And so we have monthly induction classes, okay, which has relevant professional development and ongoing support built in. What I do like about what we offer now is not just instructional pedagogy, but we also offer mental support.
Wow.
They have times where it's dealing with self-care, which is
awesome.
extreme, and wellness, which is so important. So they have at least 1 or 2 Zoom opportunities throughout each semester that really focuses on wellness and
phenomenal.
self-care, and not just pedagogy. Also, the district instructional specialist, what she does is when in her work with the individuals who are facilitating induction, is that wherever they are, where the data is showing that teachers are needing some additional support, the district instructional specialist follows up with those individuals around that additional support. If it's more additional observations that's needed, more feedback that's needed, if it's just merely this is what they need to be successful, she connects with the principal, connects with the appropriate parties to make sure that those teachers get what they need to be successful. That's another piece. For the teachers as well, especially alternative certification pathway candidates. I actually meet with them, not individually, but I do sometimes, but I meet with them 30 minutes prior to their monthly induction classes. And they're called focus groups. And so what I do there is so that I don't have to have them come an additional day.
Sure.
I use 30 minutes prior to induction time. I use a question answer opportunity. You know, what's going well? What's something we need to change? Is there anything that I can help you with? What types of supports do you need? Open-ended. But in addition to that, if they're working through passing the praxis, I check in with them about passing the praxis. We have a program called 240 Tutoring here that we utilize to help support that. So I actually am always looking on the site for 240 Tutoring, the dashboard, being able to see who's working and who's not. And if they're not working at the speed and the pace that they should, I send follow-up emails saying, hey,
accountability,
is there anything I can do to support you?
Yes.
But when I get to those focus group meetings, I'm able to say, okay, good job. I see that you're doing this. If there's somebody I got to pull away as an individual person, I'll do that. If it's not overall for the group, those kinds of things. If there's anything additional, right, that I work with the State Department with the Division of Alternative Certification Pathways, they keep me focused on what these individuals are doing and what they're not doing and where they are. So I'm able to then have those very direct and courageous conversations with them around their timeline and around what they are completing and what they're not, and how that actually will connect to us continuing their employment.
Wow, that's really powerful. And I was about to ask you about opportunities or resources for new employees that are struggling to adapt, but it sounds like you have a lot of wraparound services
We do.
in place for people to be successful.
We do. And I like, even at the building level, is that, they have their professional learning communities that they are a part of, and that's held weekly. And I think that provides opportunity for some continued professional development, more on-site, more specific to their specific grade band, their specific content area, and those kinds of things. Really focused in on data, focused in on classroom management, focused on instructional strategies and pedagogy. Those kinds of things that will be supportive of teachers and for them being successful. In addition to that, just continued observation and feedback going on, whether it's principals, whether it's assistant principals, whether it's coaches, whether it's mentors, because mentors have to do observation on them as well,
That's
right? Being able to, the more people that can put eyes on instruction, and being able to see what they see, so that we can actually create a plan for teachers. One thing that we've done here, I don't know quite whether or not, just being very transparent, how that's going now because of the role that I sit in, and I don't sit in the direct instructional role for the district. But what we've done in the past is that principals have been tasked with tiering teachers, right? Whether it's new teachers, whether it's teachers that have been here 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, but being able to tier them based upon their skill level, skill set, and their performance, whether it's as an overall teacher or whether it's specific, whether it's presenting instructional content, whether it's grouping students, whether it's classroom management. And then once they have tiered those teachers, being able to say, okay, if our focus right now is on presenting instructional content, who are the individual teachers that are at tier 3, which need the most support, okay? And then being able to adapt and create a plan specific for those teachers.
Wow, it's almost like you're in my brain, because I was just, as I'm listening to your responses, I'm thinking a lot of HR work is steeped in knowing curriculum and instruction, right?
It is.
So I think it's a blessing that you have like that as your history, right? As a principal, as the chief academic officer or assistant superintendent for curriculum and instruction. I feel like that has really set you up in a lot of ways to be able to recognize, that's a problem. You know, so you almost have a built-in early warning system.
Yes.
As you're filtering and you're vetting people.
It's exciting to reflect on that, because I think early on coming into this role, I just did not see or visualize myself in the role. Wow, my superintendent says otherwise. She said she always thought that this would be a perfect role for me. Just because I'm a people person, and so it gives opportunity and space for me to have conversations with people and really get to know people. And the great thing about being here, because I've transitioned and have been a part of this community, in this school community, district community for so long, that I know everybody, right? And so the great thing about it is I've also known their work and performance instructional. So all the people that have already been here, I already have that that type of lens that I've already seen them, kind of seen how they've evolved. In addition to that, the new people, because we've talked about new people. From the onset of, there are times where I'm on, I try to be on almost every interview if I possibly can. But I know sometimes my schedule don't allow it. But from the onset of looking at the resumes, from looking at the applications, I think my work in instruction has allowed me as a principal, as AP, has allowed me to know when someone on paper looks good, that I would be able to recommend them for interview, but also when I do sit on these interviews along with the other interview panelists, that I'm able to not just sit as HR, but I'm able to kind of sit as HR with someone who has the background, who can also help see whether those persons are a good fit. And if they're not, maybe they don't have exactly what we need, but maybe they are somebody that we can grow and develop. So I think that has been an exceptional add-on and a value added for me having that experience. And so I'm really excited to be able to use that. And then also being able to help people feel like they belong and know that we're here to support them. And that at the end of the day, if you want to be helped, you can be helped. There's help out there, right? But if it's a will issue and you just don't have the will or the desire to change and to get better, then we're not sure if this might be the best place.
Right. My final question.
Sure.
What advice would you give in today's landscape of districts being underfunded and understaffed to a human resources director or someone who is looking at maybe this position or what it takes to get the job done? What advice would you have for them today?
The first piece of advice I would have is, honestly, I believe that anyone in an HR has HR experience and knowledge can be an HR director anywhere, right? Whether it's education. But an HR person who has experience in the classroom, as a principal, as an AP, those things, I think are extremely valuable because that person cannot just operate with the lens of an HR director. They have to operate with the lens of both HR and instruction. Okay, that's number one. Number two, treat people right.
Come on, that's right.
Okay, treat people right. The golden rule is treat them as you would have them to want to treat you, right? And so with that being said, I think that comes at the very beginning, from the very moment. I speak to my HR specialist who sits at the front desk now, but I tell her all the time, you are the first person that they're going to see. They may be the first person that speaks to them, or that you speak to them. You want to make sure that from that very first meeting, that they feel welcome, they feel like they belong already, and that you give them this warm and pleasant space and opportunity. That's number one. Number three, continue to create that type of space, right? Continue to understand that climate and culture is important, and that regardless of how much pedagogy you know, how skilled you are as a district leader, as a school leader, that what matters is how much people think you care about them. Just like our kids. They don't care how much you know, and how much you care. And that's the same thing with our teachers and our staff. They have to know that you truly, genuinely care about them, and they will run through a brick wall for you. And I think that would be another layer of advice. The last piece of advice I would say is, not everyone comes to you knowing everything. So don't automatically judge them, and don't automatically wipe them out. Give them a chance. Give them an opportunity. Work with them, right? See what you can do to help them grow. And I say this all the time. If you can, like I said earlier, skill versus will. If someone has a skill set that they just don't know yet, but they have the skill set that you can train them and you can help them, let's do it. If it's a will thing, you find out soon enough that no matter what support you give and what you offer, what resource you give, they're not going to change because they don't want to. They don't like to be a part of change. And with that, as an HR person, you have to help them find their niche and help them find a place that's best suited, right, for them. And it may not be education. It may definitely not be in Allendale, right? And so those are pieces. But last thing, don't be afraid to let go. Because sometimes we hold on to people longer than we should. And when we do that, we definitely commit instructional malpractice. Because we allow people in front of our children who should not be there, who don't want to be there, and who do not care to change. And so at some point, even in rural school districts where vacancies are very high sometimes. And sometimes we're scared that if we let somebody go, we have nobody else to fill. But someone said something to me yesterday, and can I grab my phone?
Please grab it.
Someone said this to me, and I have to share it, and I think this would be a great opportunity as we end. The person said this: sometimes not having a body in a room is better than having a body in the room. I'm going to say it again.
Come on.
Sometimes not having a body in a room is better than having a body in a room.
Wow.
And that, my friend, is how I can end my advice to anybody who's looking to be an HR specialist, HR director, chief HR. I think that those nuggets is something that could actually hold a person together and really give them the power, the understanding, the knowledge, the skill set, and even the strategy for moving forward and being a successful HR director / chief.
Dr. Miller, you have laid out a whole series on a podcast for me today. We will be visiting these topics, and I'm going to need you to unpack them further at a later date.
Most definitely.
Thank you so much. This has been so valuable, and I know that your insights are going to bless a lot of people.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for it today. I appreciate you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Have a great day.
All right now.
Okay.
Awesome.
Wow, that was so good.